needs to, kumbaga, ma-imbibe niya as we head on to the draft for game number 1. For both of you, ano kaya yung i-expect nating makikita sa draft?
Ako, masasabi ko lang, ito yung literal na hayop na drafting phase. Talagang magiging matindi yung labanan ng ating mga drafters dito, especially the battle between Coach Wolf and Coach Panda. Marami rin tayong na-acknowledge before, especially Coach Panda, no, dahil nga sa pag-utilize ng kanyang notebook. Ang amazing lagi ng drafting patterns ng RSG. But that's also the same thing with TNC. Meron silang seer na hindi mo pa pinipik, hindi pa iniisip.
Alam na niya.
Alam na niya. At may analysis na. Diba? Nauna pa siya. Kumbaga, kulang na lang siya na mag-pick para sa'yo eh.
Parang may app.
Oo, may index eh.
Parang may index.
Na wolf index. Kumbaga may Panda notebook, may wolf index.
And both of these coaches, we all know kung gaano sila ka-fundamental, ka-stick to the book. But they need to catch their opponents off guard. Kasi kung magsistick lang sila sa book, then they might have read each other's books by this time now.
Yeah, and dito natin makikita actually yung behaviors ng dalawang coaches. RSG, they really are fundamental when it comes to drafting order now that they've seen that both Zask and Zushin is both open. Tinanggal na nila yung isa. They're looking to also be able to play the Zask. Pero dito rin natin makikita yung tendencies ng TNC na sometimes nagpapalusot sila ng hero, which is now TNC just did. Pinalusot nila yung Zask. And most likely, sinasabi ni Coach Wolf dito, sige, Panda, i-pick mo yung Zask.
I dare you. Ganito na nga ang kaganapan right now. But then, Rockhart, what else are we expecting in the draft? Pipiliin ba ng RSG, you think, ang Zask early on into this draft?
I think medyo madali siyang gamitin for Aqua, and I would say na if ikaw si Aqua, in your RSG, i-maximize mo si Aqua. I don't know if he's first pick material right now, pero knowing Aqua, sobrang lawak ng hero pool niyan.
Yeah.
One of the most underrated mid laners in the whole league. Pero yun na nga, sabi nila masyadong malakas.
Yeah, medyo mahirap talaga i-let go yung Zask ngayon, lalo sa strength niya ng current meta. Pero feeling ko, ang iniisip ng TNC dito, pwede naman natin kunin yung Roger since they banned out the Harith. And also, the Ling, there you go, the Assassin for SDZYZ. Nakita natin yung performance ni Ling. Ni SFL, pwede na rin. Ni SDZYZ on the Ling. And kung naalala nyo nung Season 9, yung pinauso niyang Mage Slayer na ngayon, Season Hunter na. By the way, dumaan pa ng Demon,
Demon Slayer.
Demon Slayer. Mage Killer pala. Mage Killer to Demon Slayer na ginagamit sa Ling. Siya nauna na sa Windtalker build. Pero ngayon, yung Ling medyo adapted na naman sa meta. So, makikita natin kung paano i-utilize to ng TNC. But still, one pick for TNC is still the Roger maybe or the Edith. We don't know.
Yeah, XP sounds like it's better, pero looks like they are gonna go for the Moskov instead. Very early lock-in, Parang hindi sila takot na, you know what, ito yung mga magiging carry namin sa laro na to. I think yung plano nila dito?
Open yung Roger, and you've already mentioned them having the ability to pick it. But why do you think na nag-prefer sila in picking this Moscow?
I feel like maybe ang iniisip ng TNC dito is i-let go natin yung Roger. Pwede i-flex na ng RSG into the jungle or to the gold. Pero it's also targeting Kusei Zero Pool. Nakita natin yung performance niya last week. Yung almost comeback na game pa on the back of Kusei's Moscow. So I feel like they really are reading into the stats here from Coach Wolf's perspective. Pero there goes the Edith and the Roger. Light special to, by the way. This is one of the most successful Ediths we've seen last season. Actually, sila pinakaunang gumamit niyan before anybody else. Pero ang nakakatakot dito sa draft ng RSG is ang tindi ng flex factor nila. Kasi itong Edith na to, pwede pang mapunta sa kamay ni Nibor.
Yeah. So yung ganong possibility talaga here in the drafting phase, yun yung gusto mong makuha. Lalo na kung nasa first phase ka pa lang ng draft.
Yeah, it's really funny kasi pinredict ni Midnight, baka mag-Roger Edith tong TNC. Yun yung last, literal naging 2 picks bigla ng RSG dito. And I think with the Aurora lock-in, I think cards on the table na around mid.
Alam mo, yung Aurora na yan, parang enhanced version ng Eudora. I'm not surprised if mag-aagawan sila ng Hylos dito, but knowing Coach Panda, baka iba niya yung Hylos sa second phase. But the one thing that I like about this Aurora pickup is, ito yung sinasabi ng community na bagong counter-engage king. Kasi napakahirap labanan ng Aurora for two specific reasons. Number one, nandun yung ability niya to reset herself para siyang may passive na Winter Crown.
Yes.
Dahil kapag namamatay siya, para siyang Nana.
Pride of Ice.
But also, if you try to engage into a lineup na may Aurora, yung stun kasi ni Aurora AoE, parang roam na rin siya in a sense na nakakapag-set up siya sa sarili niya. We've seen countless of flicker initiations come out from Aurora and yung insane damage output ng kanyang ultimate.
And napanood natin yun last week sa kamay din nitong si Hatred. I
Yep.
think nang 2v1 siya ng Aurora nun. And
Oo.
he was actually coming out on top either pantay or lumalabang siya at bahagya.
And you know, to me, what's interesting about this Aurora pick, I would say, kina-counteract na agad nila yung ability ng side ng RSG na mag-instant kuha ng assassin kasi mapapa-double think sila.
Yeah. Gusto ko lang i-comment tong dalawang coaches natin na talagang very stat heavy yung kanilang draft. Parang yung looking into the history of the team, yung Moscow Snatch, yung Tigreal ban. But still, I feel like yung Hylos talaga dito up for contention since pareha silang minalas. Hindi naman sa minalas. Pareha silang napamalasan ng
Hylos
lason ng isang Hylos. So, may advantage dito yung TNC kasi sila yung first pick ng second phase. Baka iniisip na ni Wolf, pwede natin kunin to,
Ayun
pero
na.
hindi.
Oh.
Talagang ayaw nila sa Hylos. Sabi nila, galit kami sa Hylos, dapat kami lang yung hayop dito, bawal ang kabayo.
Okay. Mukhang magkakaubusan tayo dito.
Bawal ang Oya back.
Bawal ang Oya back. Ayan. So magkakaubusan tayo dito ng roamers for sure, right? I
Yeah.
think that's gonna be the biggest point of
Well,
contention. And maybe that's something that already has been planned out.
I feel like takot lang din yung TNC na makakuha pa ng Hylos dito, yung RSG. Kasi medyo awkward nga din naman kapag pinili nila yung Hylos right there. Tapos makakuha ng magandang 2 picks yung RSG. Kasi yung Edith flexible pa eh. Pero ang nakakatakot pa rin dito, when they ban out the Hylos, look sila sa roam pickups kasi may flex na yung RSG.
May Edith na agad silang possibility. So definitely, dito sa last ban ng RSG, would this be an XP ban or a roam?
I think this could probably XP. Feeling ko XP. There you go. Teresa, bakit di natin sa...
Safest
dapat
XP.
parang first yun, di ba? Usually first rotation ban yun. I was surprised na up pa siya, pero yeah, right on cue. XP bro, XP ban here. And what about the... Ako iniisip ko dito ngayon. Okay, Nibor can probably use the Edith, pero what if he can take us by surprise, take out picks like the Yuzhong?
Yeah.
Yung, malay mo, may namana. May tapamana si Boss Nuts dito, di ba?
Or yung Arlot. Yung Arlot
Arlot.
ni Nuts, we're not sure. Pero for TNC, I think they're eyeing the last pick, the roam here. Maybe yung Chone Escalera sa last pick. Tapos kuha muna sila ng
kahapon.
XP like a Yuzong,
Grabe yun.
as Rockhart has said. Pero pwede rin naman yung Glue. May Glue choice din naman sila dito
yeah.
for TNC. I think may history din naman si Heads with the Glue pickup.
Alam mo, Midnight, may tanong ako. We talked about this before. Ano yung nagpapahirap going up against Azaz?
NHO. I would say ang nagpapahirap versus Zask is yung mga heroes na walang kiting abilities and also yung mga kaya naman bang kite pero yung composition nyo hindi kaya mag-punish. But the thing with Glue is that wala siyang pake kay Zask actually.
Susustain lang niya lahat.
Susustain niya lang, sasabunutan pa niya yung kakampi mo.
True.
And I feel like yun yung lacking sa department ng TNC dito. Pero I do understand the early rush pickup on that show kasi gusto na rin nila itago yung role. Kasi pwede may laki sa XP eh. Din
Yes,
yung
Sanford.
show. And
One.
I feel like this does tell a lot of things with RSG kasi ngayon pwede na sila pumili ng counter choke matchups like the Kufra, maybe the Yuzong, or even the Arlot.
Actually, I was gonna go talk about that. Yung mga pwedeng counter din kay Zask are heroes that are high mobility.
Oh!
Right?
What?
And there you go. Wow!
What?
Well, classic light picks, I guess. Very, very old school light picks to.
Yeah. Actually, ganda nung ang ganda nung Kaja. In a sense na mahirap lumapit if you're the Cho, di ka basta-basta makakapag-check push. And
Oo.
yung Link, kailangan niya mag-ingat sa kanyang mga Tempest of Blades kapag
Yeah.
up pa yung Divine Judgment. I just feel like may chance na makakuha ng early game dito yung TNC. Lalo kapag nakakuha sila ng XP na walang pake dito sa 3 picks ng RSG like yung Edith, Kaja, and Hayabusa. And I do feel like Glue is such a perfect pick. Both Glue and Yuzong.
Yun na.
Yeah, and the thing also about this Kaja Midnight, correct me if I'm wrong, ay kapag nagkamali siya ng flicker in, tapos na-freeze siya ng Aurora, ang dali ng
Yeah.
punish mechanic.
Yun nga eh, may
Ay.
counter-engage eh. Baka manigas yung manok eh. Imbis na niluluto, naninigas eh. Oh!
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Not bad.
Wait, is it an XP Grok?
Makikita natin.
Roam
Okay,
drop.
roam.
Okay. So, pretty safe. And I think I have to double down ng sinabi mo kanina. Tama ka, Auntie. It's like pretty easy to actually mess it up, which nakita natin nung week 1. Madaming mga
Yeah.
miscount, misplay with the flickers. So, 50-50. Hopefully maganda practice nila.
Yeah, kailangan nga nilang magkaroon ng ability to stop this because this lineup, I would say, sobrang heavy nila both in team fight for the side of TNC Pro Team and for the side of RSG Philippines naman, mas pick-off centric sila because of this Kaja. But how will this draft pan out against each other? Kailangan nating makita because this is game number 1 between RSG Philippines and TNC Pro Team. Both of these teams have yet to regain their momentum. Kaya naman, ibato na natin sa Land of Dawn with our casters. Uomi and Burrito, please take it away.
Welcome.
It's
to
actually
Mobile
us,
Legends.
Niso and Leo on the English desk. Thank you so much, Antinara, and our friends over at the Infinix Game Tambayan Midnight Rock are taking care of the draft. Joseph, how are you liking what RSG, PH, and TNC brought to the table?
I'm liking both, but you know, I think I have to go ahead and opt for the fact that, and this isn't a biased opinion because Wolf is over there coaching, but I do like TNC's lineup. You know, I want to see them be able to get this match off to a good start, get the momentum going. I think they have it. It's just mainly every time I see a Zask, man, I gotta say, like, do you have what it takes to deal with a Zask?
And you're looking at a Zask with Aqua in it, right? And I know Aqua to be one of the best space users and technical mages. Oh no, quick action early on.
Already early on, fighting for the Lith Wanderer. Nibber could be in trouble.
Nibor!
Not going to be able to help much just yet. It's already a first blood here in the hands of Hez. Good start once again for TNC as Hez picks up a kill.
That's what you call a heads-up play.
Heads up.
And I was getting back to it, as I was saying before we were so suddenly interrupted by our teams. When you're looking at Aqua on a Zask,
Yeah.
he doesn't get to use much of the space. Like, he has to commit. Whenever he goes in with his ult, he has to commit, and that's not very Aqua in my opinion. We have to see RSG grow into many different directions, not just because Nats isn't playing for today, but mainly because the meta is changing, right? And this is a RSG with Irad in it. It's a very aggressive RSG.
It's funny that you mentioned that because technically, like, our meta shifted majorly, what, 2 months ago, I think it was at this point?
Yeah.
It's been a while, but, like, there's these micro shifts still happening.
Yep.
And I love to see that. I love that we're in that phase of the meta where, yeah, some of these changes still happen. And even with this, like, this lineup that RSG brought to the table is still something that, you know, has a little bit of a nicheness to it because, like the panel mentioned, Light is going to pick up a signature pick like this Kaja, but still with it, I think that's the thing. Like, they have to tailor the aggression here.
Yep, besides Light, everything else is kind of new flavor for the Raiders. TNC, on the other hand, again, everything's in flux for them. This is their comfort zone, I guess, you know, climbing up and trying to score one over the rest of the league. And you're seeing Escalera on his signature Grok, SD on the Ling, that's an old favorite. And of course you have Hatred on the Aurora, who has been playing Aurora even before Aurora was a thing.
And it's funny because, yeah, one of the first players to obviously bring the Aurora out, but, you know, still serves a purpose. There's the Divine Light Judgment we were talking about. Shadow Kill already going to be used. They pop the Tensor Blades. It's Light that gets punished. Nibber goes down too. TNC, though, how are they going to still adjust? They have to deal with that Zosk. Still holding its front with the Nightmare Spawn, but they're going to force the Red back. But these are pickups for TNC already, and some control around the turtle. And now, once again, Heads will be focused down, taken down. SD goes for the kill. He'll handle Aqua just fine. And now they'll get the objective, most likely.
Oh no, Turtle's still standing!
Light's there alongside Irad. They could stop this in their tracks. They go in, Nibber flickers in. Irad walks up, takes the turtle. Do they still go for more? Hatred's in trouble. They pop the Pride of Ice already, the passive, and now Escalera alongside Irad. There's the wild charge. Going to be able to knock up two. Still bounding out Hatred. Doesn't have the passive. Careful to draw in, but Kozin goes in and will pick it up. And Irad falls, and Light picks up another, and Aqua too. The Raiders will get something out of the value from that first turtle take.
Some things might change, but if you're thinking of the fundamentals in RSG, no matter who's playing, no matter how aggressive they may be, they may look, some things never change. Look at this, SD still going in. Goes in as well, Tempest of Blades up!
Tempest of Blades already using Light will fall. Great usage, Spirit of Destruction as well from Kozin, so this is a battle, man. That's exactly what we're seeing here with these lineups.
I don't think it's a battle, this is a straight up fight now. 5 minutes in, 10 kills across the board. Not even 5, folks. 4 minutes, 30 seconds. Let's see what the items look like. again, because of how much TNC got out of that first turtle, you see how Kozen is way ahead of Kusei. Like, I'd say, what, 500, 600 gold? And then you're looking at SD, who got 3-0. 3, and then nothing. And then, well, they did have to surrender the turtle, but he's, what, 200 gold up on Irad?
Yeah.
As a Ling, as someone who is maybe a little slightly more late game reliant, I'm liking where this Ling is going.
It's scaling really well, and that's why I always love, Warcry Emblem 2 has done some good things in our current meta, bringing in that emblem, and you saw 2 over here from the Raiders, and I think that's why when they go into some of these skirmishes, these team fights, it shows, it shows on how they kind of scale up. Now, Kosei, on the other hand, he's been able to farm up for relatively, freely, and he's going to have to shine later on because like we saw with Kozen, he could just throw in the spear, man. Spear destruction, here I am.
And I think that's where RSG needs to step on the clutch, maybe consider how they approach the mid-game power spike. They don't really have any burst. They have Zask, sure. They have light off the DJ, but maybe they want to go for pickoffs first and maybe secure this. Nibur coming in again!
That's what they're going to go for. They went for it, and now Hatred going to fall. They don't worry about it. SDZYZ going to join the fight. Nibur still there on the front side on this Edith, keeping them at bay. They just want control of the turtle pit, and they'll go ahead and do that. And I think TNC might be left to just giving this one up here.
Dear God, look at the body block RSG just putting up meat shields from the major objective, and they score one more. 100% of turtles going so far to the Raiders, and now they're moving downward. That is a Divine Judgment on Light. Again, best believe, Joseph, people watching at home, as long as there's a battle spell or an ult on RSG, they're going to press the buttons.
It's most likely going to be from Light, right? That's why anytime he picks this Kaja, I'm just like, man, that's a Divine Light Judgment coming through, because the way he plays aggressively with his Kaja and utilizing the Divine Judgment is great. I mean, a lot of the times that's all they have to do, rely on Light to do it. And I feel like that's almost in a sense where, on the flip side, you have a wild charge for TNC, you've got a Way of the Dragon. Like, you have pick-off tools, but can they utilize it?
Yeah, nothing is as sure as this. Divine Judgment once more!
Divine Judgment going to find heads. They get the flicker out, so he has to burn it to survive, but hey, that's still, this minor win for RSG as they set here on the bottom side.
I think you can count it as a win, but you got to put an asterisk on that, Joseph, because Light spent not just the ult, but also the flicker.
He did.
And I think this will open up the turret. Yep. I'd say that's a good exchange.
Yeah, good exchange. They expend that a little bit. They still have tools, too, to kind of initiate the fights with Nibur on this Edith, and they make a play objectively, they get a turret. That's more space to make around the map here. And again, we're talking about the fact that, the next objective being up Lord, they've got kind of control of this. And it's building up a slow momentum for them, too.
Yeah, and I think the rubber band is just about to snap. We're looking at Kosei here, who again has no kills, no deaths either, and is on his way to an endless battle. And he's rocking the Sky Piercer and the Windtalker from here on, so he can choose one of either path, Joseph. Yeah. He farms minions, or he farms heroes. He can go either way. He's just waiting for that moment.
He's at the fork in the road right now.
Yep, it's like, which one? Dylan, tell me. Light, tell me, which way?
Which way do I go? And again, at that point, with Lord coming up here, that's where TNC kind of has to check themselves a little bit. And why I say it's so important that you get the setups, especially the fact you have Escalera on this Grok here. They'll exchange here on the bottom side, and we'll see what they focus on.
In the same way, in a swing of fate, TNC is also facing the same story.
Exactly.
Do we now go for fights, or do we split the map up? And it looks like now they're catching up to it. Lord here down to a 10th, the 16th, the steal!
SD somehow able to get the Lord, and now it looks like they're going to be able to win the fight too as Light gets taken down. Nibur pops the Primal Wrath, but does he have enough damage? He gets thrown into the wall from the Spear of Misery. As 3 fall from RSG, where did this come from TNC?
A haymaker from down under. TNC caught RSG off guard. And say what you will about the past 3 or 4 minutes, but RSG is only really strong when they have initiative. They can't clap back when they're not ready. Let's see that instant replay here brought to us by Infinix. Joseph, even you and I didn't see it until it just happened. First off, the steal off of SD's Divine Retribution, and then from there, I guess they just
collapsed.
They just throw bodies at it. Even Kusei wasn't ready. Look.
Yeah, it was a beautiful overlapping of things that TNC needed. That's what they exactly needed. Again, as we were questioning, do they fight? Do they go for the objective? They went for both in that exchange, and they get the Lord, and now they'll be able to move around the map a little bit better than they have. So this is the time. Do the Raiders have it in the tank? There's the wild charge again with the damage on the backside already going to pull through. Primal Wrath's going to be popped too as Escalera's in trouble. Nibor already picks up a kill and now heads on the run. He gets cut off. SD tries to save him, but is that who you want to be able to save? SD's still going to be alive, and now RSG has to deal with the Lord in the base as those shields will pop down the bottom side.
All right, they'll have to manage here, but kudos to TNC. Again, respect for what they did in that last sequence, stealing away the Lord, taking 3 down for free, but they tried to do it a second time and take pictures too. Didn't really pan out. Again, this just shows how aware RSG is of the situation. They know who the beatdown is, and as TNC tried to swing once more with a haymaker from down under, it just did not pan through. What made that last sequence work out, a chorus of violence. Oh, wait! Oh, again!
Dominator's Descent going to be already used. Tempest Ablaze to follow up. Drops down the Glacier, but Hatred can't escape the damage. As the Spirit Destruction going to be used. Kozen's going to follow up. He doesn't, as Escalera gets shredded. And Kusei already choosing the kills here. Now he's online on the Roger. Picks up 2. And they're going to focus down the mid lane for the tier 2 turret.
Again, what makes a chorus of violence possible for TNC, a sudden swing into a dominant position, is a drum beat. You have to have set it up. But if it's RSU's ready to welcome it, if RSU's waiting for you to please force me to fight, now this is what happens.
This is what happens. It's tough because just when TNC found that spark in their flame, it just quickly got doused out by the Raiders. And I don't know, that's always something, you know, about RSG from season to season. You can't count them out. Even when you have that swing play in your favor, somehow, some way, the Raiders are like, no, we're going to turn this around. We got this.
They didn't air it out. The fire was there. There was but an ember. But Aqua was ready to answer back. Light with a pull!
Light's going to get a pull off again. Escalera. Immortality going to be popped. Can the team get there in time? He tries to get away, but the clones will get him as Irad gets the killing spree already, making a double. Lord's going to be worked on. Still gets the triple 2. Is he looking for the Maniac from Heads? I don't think he's going to be able to catch Heads, but he has the damage there. They'll get the objective instead, and once again, the Raiders come through in the team fight, in the exchange. They get the objective.
John Darituazon back in MPL Philippines, showing up. Yet to get a win, but here his Hayabusa performing out of his mind. 6-1-5, picking up the Malefic Roar now.
Yep.
Best believe even Escalera, even Heads is going to have to think twice about, can I really take a few hits from this Hayabusa?
Scary. You know, you saw the preview of the damage alone, and sometimes all he has to do is pop that shadow kill once Light goes in with a Divine Judgment. They disperse away from it. Lord's going to work on this mid-base turret. Irad goes to the backside, a huge knockup again, even with the Primal Wrath being expended. But they'll pick up a couple kills as 2 are down for TNC. They'll go back, they'll heal up. They have to deal with the Lord. It's almost down. They should be able to clear it out. Irad jumps in on the backside, forcing him back a little bit longer, and again the pull from Heads as another member from TNC will fall. But only one base turret going down for RSG.
A 3-for-1. Plus a penetration. Light looking for targets.
Still want more here.
Let him go. It's just Escalera waiting on him. Kozen as well. All right, TNC still yet to breathe. An amazing initiation by Nibor. I'm loving it. I'm wondering what the fans think of what he brought out there in the absence of Nats. Because so far, 2, 4, and 7. Again, not a good KDA if you ask me.
Yeah.
But what he did there single-handedly shot up RSG's net worth up to 7K.
Shout out to the fans, right?
All the fans.
That's right. And that's why I was saying, going back, like, you know, what, 10 minutes ago when we were talking about the tools that RSG had here. See, notice how it's either Light when he has the flicker available or Snibor. And they can both do that time and time again. But TNC can do the same thing. That's why you pointed it out. Like, it's more or less the same story for TNC's lineup here.
Yeah. And here's the thing. For TNC, it's not as simple. All right, Joseph, it's not as simple. It's not just because they're down 6 or 7K.
Yeah.
It's more because if Heads jumps in or Escalera jumps in, they require a little bit more
finesse
and synchronicity. Like, they have to throw in 3 or 4 ults to get there. For RSG, they're happy with a single Divine Judgment and then maybe 2 or 3 hits from Kusei or Irad.
Yeah.
They can make that work. It's so much simpler for them. But for TNC, the returns are infinite.
That's true.
Because they can walk away with a steal. SDG can do that. They can control the map a little better. Because again, you walk on walls with the Finch Poise much easier than the Quad Shadow.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, whoa,
What?
Chosen!
What?
And the toss up again from the onward.
See, I told you, easier.
So much simpler to make it work here, and now forcing TNC back again. Does RSG just choose to end the game here with a numbers advantage, 5 versus 3?
They can.
TNC, they got the waves pushing in. They're trying to block it off with the Guardian's Barrier. The Nightmare's going to be dropped down. Dominator's Ascent 2. They want to force them off the base. Tempest Blade's going to be used, trying to clear the waves out. Escalera takes way too much damage as he will fall. But the crystals already going to be worked on as RSG will take game number 1.
The Raiders are at match point. One more to get on the leaderboard. I told